المواجهات على الأرض وخفض التصعيد ووقف العدوان على قطاع غزة مع ما يتطلبه ذلك من حماية للمدنيين ومنع استهدافهم ووقف الاستفزازات والأعمال الإحادية تفاديا لاستفحال الوضع وخروجه عن السيطرة. ثانيا، تقييم الاحتياجات الصحية والإنسانية العاجلة في قطاع غزة وباقي الأراضي الفلسطينية المتضررة للتجاوب مع تلك الاحتياجات وسبل إيصال المساعدات إلى جهتها. ثالثا، تقوية الموقف التفاوضي للأشقاء الفلسطينيين من خلال التعجيل بالمصالحة الوطنية.
Brothers, to reach reconciliation and to put the best interest of Palestine as a first priority, as we also welcome in this regard with the efforts exerted by Egypt. And we urge Egypt to continue with its continuous and relentless efforts to reach the Palestinian consultations and reconciliations, and also to urge the international partners, particularly the quartership, to revive the peace process, to reach the roadmap, and to have a schedule to enter into serious negotiations to reach a final settlement to solve the Palestinian cause according to international and Arab laws. Also, we reassure the continuous support of the Moroccan kingdom to the Palestinian cause under the leadership of Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas to reach its independence. Your Excellencies, General Secretary of the Arab League, the security and stability of the Middle East, as assured by the Moroccan King on the occasion of the International Support Day for the Palestinian people, we should go out of the violence and to reach peace for the Middle East region peoples. Morocco is all the time stick to international peace based on international legitimacy. It's the strategic choice, and we are all the time ready to reach this aim by full cooperation to support the Palestinian people of having their independent Palestinian state with Al-Quds as its capital on the borders of 1967 upon the solution of these two states to enable the Middle East peoples to live in peace, security and stability for the coming generations. Thank you very much. Now I ask General Secretary Ahmed Abou El-Gheit to address the attendees. Thank you very much, Mr. Nasser Bourqiba, Moroccan Minister for Foreign Affairs. Your Excellencies, we convene today it's an unprecedented violent situation. There is such serious possibilities to have the situation out of our hands, out of control. All these are possibilities which I really feel it seems with all my sorrow that the situation is very much escalating. It's a very dangerous moment, requiring all of us to exercise self-restraint and to take into consideration the very negative repercussions. All the aggression prepared by the occupation troops, they are not going to take us except into more vicious circles of violence and bloodshed and massive sanctions and punishments against the Gaza residents, all condemned by the international rules and resolutions. We do support and have our full solidarity with the residents of Gaza who are now exposed to massacres. We condemn them in the harshest words. Nobody would feel that anybody would want this kind of escalation. We reject all kinds of violence against civilians. Terrifying the innocents is very unacceptable, even if it is for independence. I call for all sides to hold a ceasefire and to stop this escalation, not to be dragged into a vicious circle of violence, exposing the stability of the whole region, exposed to danger. The Council expressed more than much during the past few years many situations, very clear ones, that the situation in the occupied territories in Palestine is about to explode. This escalation, it's not a result of today, but it has its roots, which are very clear for everyone, for all sides. We should approve the Palestinian rights and to have all Palestinian sides in Gaza or in the West Bank. There is also such an occupation rule based on apartheid to get rid and to not to abide by the two-state solution. All this, it's suffocating the hopes for any political horizon or hope. And we reach this very sad point which we are now experiencing and living. The Arab states also adopted, particularly in the past few years, solution to put an end to Palestinian-Israeli sides upon the Arab Peace Initiative according to the two-state solution. It's the solution which provides all sides with security and stability. Stability for the region, but unfortunately, Israel considered settlement is previous and is proceeding and should proceed, and to keep the land, it's a priority rather than guaranteeing a stable future for the coming generations. The occupation government, the Israeli government, continued to suppress the Palestinians and with provocative policies. Also, some of its symbols continued with its hate speech. There is only one path to preserve hope and life for the coming generations, to put an end to occupation and to hold an independent Palestinian state on the borders of 1967 with Al-Quds as its capital. I hope that the wisdom voice is going to be higher and louder than the revenge voice, and to stop the violent circle, because it's going to result only in pains, massacres, and all the situation is going to go out of control with unpredicted results on all sides. Also, I do wish that I'm going to live this day in which all people are living in peace, whether in Palestine or in Israel, enjoying dignity, freedom, peace between two countries, two states living together side by side. The coming generations really deserve to feel far from the vicious circles of hatred and violence. Maybe this moment is going to remind us, with all its worries and pains, peace is inevitable, and to block the political horizons will not end except with more violence and instability. Thank you. Thank you for all. Thank you very much, Arab League General Secretary, and now I'm giving the speech to my brother,
رئيس وفد دولة فلسطين.
The head of the Palestinian delegation, Foreign Minister of Palestine, Riyad al-Maliki.
معالي الأخ الوزير ناصر بوريطة
Nasser Bourita, Your Excellency, Foreign Minister of Morocco, the current President of the Arab League round, Arab League Secretary General Ahmed Abu al-Ghait, Your Highness and Excellencies, would you please first let me start my speech with greeting and all the girls and boys or the sons of the Palestinian people who are now facing a massive war from the occupation war. It's an occupation war against all of them, and may God bless the souls of our martyrs, and I wish a speedy recovery for the injured. Also, I'd like to express on behalf of all of you with our pride and to greet our Palestinian people with all the dignity they are facing with the Israeli aggression. It's phenomenal what they are doing there on the ground. On behalf of Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, I'd like to thank you for responding to our Palestinian call to hold this meeting in the headquarters of the Arab League here in Cairo, in the Egyptian capital, to study together and to discuss all the real dangers facing the Palestinian cause and the catastrophic consequences of what's going on with the conflict on the ground and the repercussions, the very painful repercussions on our Palestinian people on the ground, and the joint Arab action to put an end immediately for the vicious circle and to provide our people with their basic needs. General Secretary, first, would like to remind the whole world that Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, for so many years, he was standing there with the UN and warned more than once with the negative repercussions of the occupation, with all the connected crimes daily taking place against the Palestinian civilians, their lands, their homes, the sacred places, their properties, their institutions, by the Israeli occupation forces and the illegal settlers, and also among the provocations, in addition to Ben Gvir and other Israeli officials' provocations against the Palestinian people since the start of this year, even before the last aggression, many or hundreds of martyrs fell, in addition to those who were captive, those who were imprisoned, those who are behind bars. Something which was documented and were released in many of reports released by Israeli and international organizations, whether it's on the West Bank or in Al-Quds, and to make it a failure for any attempt to have an independent Palestinian state, with all the apartheid aggression and procedures taken by the Israeli government. The Israeli security minister, headed by Ben Gvir, they bought hundreds of pieces of weapons to be distributed on the Israeli people to be used on attacking the Palestinian civilians in the West Bank. We warned more than once how blocking the political horizon is a danger, is a threat, and this is going to be another failure for all efforts exerted by the Arabs to revive the Middle East peace process and to return back to negotiations, as well as the memorandum of understanding signed. Not only that, but also dealing with our people as regarding the choices which were included under the occupation plans, asking the Palestinians just to yield and to give up in front of the occupation plans. We warned more than once with the double measures implemented on the ground by the international community, with the unilateral measures taken by Israel, on top of which illegal settlement, and to violate the Islamic and Christian sacred places. They are dividing the places and the timings even in Hebron. We want to ask what's going on and what's the results. The inhumane blockade of Gaza Strip, and to separate it from the West Bank, to the violations and the crimes of the illegal settlers and occupation, and the international failure to implement and to apply the international laws in occupied Palestine. It's very hard for all of us to describe what's faced by Gaza. Massacres. It's the massive eliminations by all women, even with those prevented and prohibited by the international community. In front of all of us, we are witnessing ourselves full destruction, killing, cutting water and electricity, fuel, food commodities, medical aids. All people are now fleeing their homes to destroy their infrastructures, all what's related to the daily life. They want Gaza Strip to return back to what was taking place before long ago. And there are some people who are really closing their eyes in front of all these crimes. It's very unfair. It's mean. It's led by very unfair people to eliminate cooperation and to stop cooperation. Those who are that much proud of democracy and law, but in fact they are infiltrating and violating law. Till the moment, martyrs, they reach more than 1,000 martyrs. Half of them are women and children. 1,000 buildings already damaged. Thousands of people are now homeless, in addition to government buildings, headquarters, factories, mosques. They are all damaged. They are moving on to massive destruction. The free people are supporting us, and it's enough that there are popular moves in many of the international capitals against the unfair, the unjust practice by Israel, to put an end to this catastrophe, to put an end to the bloodshed. There are families. Now they are now out of our world. Schools, buildings, towers, institutions, mosques, many suburbs, they are now flattened. Many people were forced to flee. They migrated. They are targeting everything in Gaza Strip, the elderly, the patients, the women, children, you name it. Crimes against the war crimes, crimes against humanity, all in front of the whole world with international cover, giving the green light to Netanyahu to feel free to do whatever he wants in the Palestine occupied territories. And even the Israelis are very proud of the crimes they are committing against humanity. With this excuse that they are defending themselves, and under this camouflage, some of the international community partners are just letting Netanyahu to continue with his crimes, including cutting electricity, water, medical aid, fuel, also targeting the press, journalists, medical staff. Is this the way to defend yourself?
هو دفاع عن النفس.
If this is the way you are defending yourself, I'm here talking to Israel. There is such a direction from the European countries to stop and to free the aids to Palestine, as if Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas and his government are responsible for the current situation. All the development projects were for the sake of the Palestinian people, and all the development organization knew what's going on the ground, and it's under their approval. Now it's this very strange decision which is taken against the Palestinian people. This is to lose the political directions and to feel this chaos under the Israeli pressure. This is to approve or to agree on what was going on? No, this is not the case. They are in illusions. In the same time, all these countries, the escalating situation are taking place in a way or another, with the occupation forces continuously practicing the all apartheid and violent actions against the Palestinian people, far from the international laws, and to impose the apartheid. For 75 years, all the Palestinian rights were neglected, and with also neglecting also the way the Israeli aggression is practicing his crimes, their crimes against the Palestinian people. This is reflecting political deviation, humanitarian deviation. And with the way many of the West countries are showing solidarity with Israel and to neglect the Palestinian rights, this hypocrisy is unacceptable, unjustified, and it will continue with more crimes against humanity. We call for an immediate end to the current escalation. It's not accepted for the international community to stay silent. And we also ask for a guarantee to have aid and medical aid to our people in Gaza in every time Israel chooses war, occupation. Israel never resorted to peace, never resorted to respect laws, never admitted the right of the Palestinians to live in an independent state. And in the past 75 years, Israel used nothing but force, or to threat with using force, massive punishments, undiscriminated policies, and to grab lands, to deprive the Palestinian people from its basic rights in the same time. And they reject fully to commit to the two-state solution and to make it as a failure on the ground, and to continue with these practices, the unlawful practices on the ground, to violate the Palestinian rights to have their independency and their independent people. The real catastrophe which is taking place right now, urging us to take decisive decisions and to find a solution for the current situation. It's not acceptable at all just to deal lightly with the current catastrophe, to deprive the Palestinian people from their humanity and to help them getting rid of this unfair practices. We should regain our political horizons and to push the Middle East peace process forward via serious negotiations based on the Arab Peace Initiative, to put an end to the occupation, to realize peace and stability for the region. Without that, the violence, the occupation, the illegal settlements, more crimes All these are going to continue to prevail, and the result is going to minimize the chances of peace. All those who are behind this, it's insane. It's the absence of international will to interfere to put an end to this. Thank you. I thank Mr. Riyad al-Maliki, the Palestinian Foreign Minister. What was agreed upon? Now I announce an end to the opening session. Now we are going to go to a closed meeting. I ask all the journalists to leave the hall.